Hello, dear viewer, and welcome back to another episode. This is actually, in fact, the first episode where I'm going to be digging a little bit deeper into certain heritage brands and a different way of doing things, or perhaps rather reintroducing a way we always used to do things, but which have gone by the wayside. So I used to absolutely hate shaving. It was a chore. It was something I'd rush through every morning to get to work. But I had a huge shift a number of years ago when I started exploring more traditional shaving with a safety razor and soap and a brush. And since then, I became hooked very quickly. It's a beautiful way of shaving. It slows life down just for 10-15 minutes, and without waxing too lyrically, it's almost something of a mini spa treatment every morning. My daily shave is something I really enjoy, and I really enjoy and appreciate a lot of the products that are available today. They've always been available, but just by doing a bit of research and exploring a few different options, there are some fantastic products on the market. But what's great about this way of shaving, and something I try to impart to younger men who are just getting started, is once you've equipped yourself with the right accoutrement, the right equipment, it'll be something that will save you literally thousands of dollars over a lifetime of shaving. I did a quick bit of research, and I looked up some of the popular handle with the detachable disposable cartridge systems. They've got like 15 blades on them with a moisturizer strip. I mean, they do a great shave, but the prices were ranging from, I think the cheapest I saw was around $7, £3 for 4 disposable heads, all the way up to £30, $50 or so for a more elaborate system. And I think out of that you maybe got 8 to 16 shaves. So over the course of a year, that adds up quite sizably. So reverting to a more traditional way of shaving, not only do I think it's much better for your skin, you get a much better shave, but ultimately you'll be saving a lot of money over, again, a lifetime of shaving. So I'm going to introduce you to a few of the products I use on a regular basis. I think you can see it. It's here in front of me. It looks like a lot, but it's not really. Perhaps I do have a little bit more than I need. So my shave generally consists of a few steps. After I shower and I wash using a facial cleanser, I want to make sure my skin is very the bristles are very soft, and the skin is as I don't say as hot as possible, but the skin is ready, to ostensibly be scraped with a blade. So the first thing I do when I'm getting ready and my face is fully, my face is wet and lubricated, I then would apply something like a pre-shave oil. This just gives the skin a nice or oily texture that will allow the blade to slide really nicely along the skin. Sometimes, in addition to that, and there's a whole lot of different brands of these oils. I do have some more coming. This is a brand called Knightsbridge, and I have a couple of different scents here. I think there's a lime scent, and this is the signature blend. They're great oils. I do like to use this brand of product, and you can get this anywhere in most chemists, pharmacists. Pro Raso, an Italian brand, and they have a whole different range of products, and it's I'm considering actually doing a real shaving video, but for now, it's just like a mousse kind of cream that it doesn't lather up so much. You just rub it to the skin. So I like to sometimes use both the oil and the Pro Raso as a base before I think about putting soap on my skin. Now, in terms of the soaps, this is where there's a massive range of products you can look at here. I do like the Pro Raso shave creams. They lather up very well, have fantastic smells, and the price point is very good for Pro Raso. So this is, if you're looking at and you're exploring a new way of shaving, Pro Raso is a good brand to go to. I still use it on a regular basis, but as an entry brand, you can't go wrong with Pro Raso. Now, one brand I do love, it is a heritage brand, meaning that it has a certain provenance. There's a history behind it, and it's you may be familiar with this. Tailors of Old Bond Street. Now, Tailors of Old Bond Street was a barber shop opened up in the 1850s in London by Jeremiah Taylor. Some years later, his son then moved the shop to Jermyn Street, and it's considered, I believe, it's the oldest barber shop in London, if not England. And you can still go in for a wet shave, a beautiful, beautiful spot they have right there on Jermyn Street. I'll be talking more about Jermyn Street in an upcoming episode, and I'm hoping on my next, when I'm next back in London, to actually do a walking tour of Jermyn Street. A tub of the Tailors of Old Bond Street will possibly set you back around, I'm trying to bounce between Canadian and pound sterling, about 20 pounds, 30 Canadian dollars. But it goes an incredibly long way. You do not need much of this for your daily shave. And so I alternate between two, the sandalwood and the tobacco leaf. Both have a fantastic, very earthy, musky smell. They're beautiful. I do have some others coming. As summer comes and I want to mix things up a little bit, I will try some lighter scents. So I'll keep you posted. But you need just only a little bit of these. So this tub is 150 grams, 5.3 fluid ounces. Will last you a very long time. Now, I don't use the actual bowl itself. When I'm using this product, I will take a bit out and it will then go into my shaving cup, which I'll explain. So my face is oiled. I've used the Pro Raso. I've used the pre-shave oil. Then I want to use, of course, my soap. So there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can just use your hand, but one of the most effective ways to do it, to get a beautiful thick lather, is to then use a badger brush and a shaving cup or a bowl. Some people just use the corner of their sink. Now, I like to scoop a little bit of the soap out with the brush, and then mix it up in the cup. I do soak my brushes first in very, very hot water just to open them up and to get everything nice and hot inside there, which helps the soap, they call it bloom. It helps the soap lather and thicken up, and you'll get that thick layer that you need on your skin before you start shaving. So I use this is my very first brush. This brush, I would say, is almost 25 years old, and it's just beautiful. It's soft. You can buy synthetic brushes. Now, I've tried a synthetic brush, but I find that they do not have the same softness that a badger hair brush has. They are a little bit more expensive, but I will say that if this one here has served me well for about 25 years, there's at least another 25 years of life left in it. Now, I did make the mistake of not hanging it upside down. I did store it after I finished shaving standing up, so eventually the water and everything else got down inside the brush, and the glue that holds the actual hair inside, it's connected onto a base, did pop out, but I fixed that. I do have another. This was actually a more expensive brush, Edwin Jaeger. It did have a matching blade handle system, but that broke, so I'm left just with the brush. But this, either one of these will last you many, many, many years. But if you're getting started, you can try the synthetic brush. I do have a synthetic brush somewhere. I don't use it for shaving, actually. I use it for brushing off cigars. A badger hair brush. Now, I've seen I've looked in a few shops locally. There is a lot less, I think, opportunity for buying this type of product in Canada than, unless if you're in a big city, Toronto. If you're not in such a big city, you are limited in the choices. You can go to one of the big box retailers, and they do sell these. Wilkinson's make it, I believe, but I do believe that's a synthetic brush, and you'll notice the difference. Now, what a brush does is that once you have your soap on it and you're applying it rather vigorously to the skin, it does somewhat exfoliate the skin first, and it loosens up the bristles, and it agitates them and makes them stand up, so that when you are passing the blade over, it catches the blade catches the hairs a lot easier, giving you a much closer shave. So I just take a little bit of scoop a little bit of the soap. The brush has been soaking in very, very hot water. I like to preheat the shaving mug with hot water first, and then I just simply you've seen people do this, just agitate the brush inside the cup, and within seconds you'll notice, using something like Taylorsville Bond Street, you'll have a massive volume of cream, very, very thick cream, and more than you need for a quick shave. But often what I'll do a second pass once I've done my initial shave, and then you'll apply it to the skin. You'll cover every area that you want to shave, and you'll give yourself a nice thick coating. Now, getting to the blades themselves, so I use a safety razor, and this is where the savings, you'll realize the savings in no time. Now, a safety razor, it's looks like a traditional basic shaving razor. There's different styles. There's this one here where the blade twists off, and you're then left with two parts to it. The base, where the blade will drop onto, this then just closes on top of that, bending the blade actually, so that it conforms to the curve of the shaving head, and then twist the handle back on, and there you go. It's very, very simple. But the great thing about this is actually, this is an old blade. I do need to change that. I buy the blades by the 100, and there are many different qualities of blades. I'm paying between $15 and $20. So for each blade, we're looking at 15 to 20 cents. There are some much, much cheaper, but I would caution against going too cheap. You're compromising on quality. So you're looking at about between 15 and 20 cents for each blade. And, a box of 100 for $15 compared to $20 to $40 for 4 to 8 disposable heads, you're looking at a lot of shaves here. Now, there's some different opinions as to how many shaves you can get from one blade. I tend to get 2 shaves. It depends, of course, on how long the bristles are, but generally I replace the blade every 2 shaves. So each shave is costing me between 3 pence, 7 cents per blade. And disposal's fairly easy. Once I've finished with the blade, I do have this container here for my spent blades. I keep this in the bathroom, and then when this is full, what I'll do, I'll just empty it out into a can that I'm then throwing out in the rubbish. So the blades come in little convenient packs like this. They just slide out fairly easily, and replacing it takes literally 5 seconds. So I have a few of these. Now, if you're looking for one place I've found, and this isn't one of them. I have a number of these. If ever you get the chance to go to an old flea market, there's one fairly close to me, and there are a couple of vendors there, and they do sell these. And one of the best ones I have, and I don't have it with me right now, this is one I tend to use just on a very regular basis. I do have another one I absolutely love using. It has a shorter handle. If you can see, the handles are slightly, one's a little bit longer than the other one. I have one of these, and it was dated 1942, and it is just beautiful. It has an incredible weight. It is a little shorter than I like. I do like a bit of a longer handle. I feel it gives me a little bit more control. But the one from 1942, the weight is absolutely beautiful, and it looks as if it's brand new out of the box. I mean, those things were built to last. So, since 1942 to today, that's that's almost 80 years, and I can almost guarantee there's another 80 years at least of life left in this thing. So a good spot to try would be those flea markets, and I believe you can find them for around, in Canada anyway, I think they were going between $25 to $40. So but that's the same price you're paying for one of those disposable systems. So check out the flea markets. Failing that, Amazon. I don't know if the big box retailer has them, but check out Amazon. There's some great, and again, caution against going too cheap. Just spending just a little bit more, you'll get a better quality blade. Now I do have one for traveling as well. Just comes in a little travel pack, and I do think that this, I'm trying to see, I have so many, I don't know if this is one of the older ones I bought at one of those markets. I believe it might be. Yeah, so check out the markets. A good Badger brush, that will set you back just a little bit more. And again, it's not something you need to buy immediately. That's something you can kind of play around with. You start with a synthetic. Just use your hands. The Taylor of Old Bond Street soap, actually, if you just take a little bit in your hand and you rub it together, you'll get a nice thick cream that way as well. You'll just get a little bit more with the Badger hair brush, and it will just agitate the skin, the hairs on your face just a little bit better. So the first thing I do then is I prepare my face with some pre-shave oil, the Pro Raso, and I then prepare my soap in my shaving mug, applying it with the Badger brush, and then shaving with one of my safety razors. Now, one thing to remember about the safety razors is that the blades are incredibly sharp. And it took me a while to learn this, but the actual shaving, the act of shaving itself is a little bit different. With a disposable two-blade with the moisturizing strip razor, I'm able to go in like long sweeps, and the same as the more expensive cartridge systems. I found when I started shaving the same way with a safety razor, I was cutting myself a lot. Now, what I would suggest with this is that you start slowly. You just go in small little actions. So you're not looking at shaving a long strip at one time. You're just doing small little sections at a time.